Security with regards to corporate organizations is becoming key in Nigeria, especially considering the challenges around security generally. But of course, during the course of the speech that was delivered this morning, contingency plans, journey management, and competitive intelligence are some of the factors that companies and organizations have been advised to take as very important. What more can you tell us about this, sir?
Okay, contingency plan. First of all, security is a robust issue. It's no more static. It's dynamic. It's the threat profile of a system, causes a review of what should happen. Now, Nigeria, in which we play in, is a dynamic state whereby you cannot predict what will happen next. So because of that issue, contingency plan must be put in place. What contingency plan does is that if this goes bad, what is the next alternative? Case in point, you have the Lagos Third Mainland Bridge that is being blocked now. And if you have not experienced the traffic, then you don't know what we're talking about here. But if you go through that traffic, you know that you lose 6 hours productive time. So what a company does as productive plan is that they can sign an MOU with a company in the mainland for a period and then have like a floor which they can have their mainland staff go to report there for the period so that they can operate from 2 regions. Another one is that some staff can work from home in there so that there's no shutdown of the operation. With the internet system, it can be done easily like that. Now, so that becomes part of how you plan that. Now, another contingency plan is that if you run on an IT software, what people do is that they raise one here, one IT server on the island, and they raise a backup somewhere. So if this one powers out, the records are not lost. So it's backed up from the other place. So you have options quickly, and the company does not run aground. And this is because of the rise in internet level. Now, since internet is going on, many people are depending on the server. Anything can happen. Once lost, everything is gone. Now, secondly, it has to do with journey management. Journey management is that the threat profile of the country has increased. Hunger is on the high. Unemployment is on the high. So people are desperate. Now, because people are desperate now, take example from the Lagos airport down to Victoria Island, there are at least 6 kill points on the road. And one of the things that you do is that during the late hours when most flights come in, now, if you don't have adequate security to move your principal, you can be exposed. Now, Lagos State government itself has done a lot to improve security, but anything can happen anytime. People came to enjoy the Christmas, enjoy the New Year. On the 2nd, there was a mayhem for almost 14 days. Now, so what people had to do was to revert, instead of doing day movement, they started doing night movement to ensure that that happens. So that's what those kind of contingency plans and journey management things can help solve.
What will you tell us about individual responsibility of security?
Okay, truth be told, we have a responsibility to our security. And it's a lot of people make the mistake and think that government is security. Everybody's government. And I say this clearly because by international law, 1 policeman is to serve 40 civilians. Nigeria has 180 million people. I don't think we have up to 1 million policemen. Now, so because of that, the policemen are overworked. Their training is not up to par. The threat profile, the criminals have increased their plans. They know what they are doing. It's improved. Most criminals are graduates now. Most of the policemen are not. They see them wearing black and black. The criminals don't wear uniform. They wear suits. So they know how to bypass current trends. So why this has become an issue there is because you need to now upgrade the level of security technology or security understanding so that people have their own independent responsibility. People will go and live in an isolated area and drive a very Porsche car, and everybody around there is poor. Now, what do you expect to happen when they see you coming alone by 12 midnight? Kidnap and ransom is on the increase. In the Middle East, it is 90 days to 120 days negotiation time. In Nigeria, it's only 5 days. Nigeria, because of the hunger and the desperation, they are ready to negotiate 100,000 naira with you. But out there is $10 billion. Because of that poverty and increase now, you have express kidnapping on the high. Now they carry you with your ATM card and they take you to ATM, you remove 100,000, they let you go. Otherwise, they hold you till the next day and start calling everybody you know. That's what's the dynamism of it. So when people begin to understand and get to the training, like security clinic, we go out and educate people so they now know how to counter such exposures.
Okay, just two more and I'll let you go. So here you talked about, earlier we heard about auditing and security and of course due diligence. What will you give us about this?
Auditing is simply carrying out a penetration test on your existing security structure. We're in this room here. I come into this room, the first thing I'm looking for is how many entry points are there or not. The room looks fine. You say, this is where we're going to use for an office. But if there's a fire at the door in there, how do you get out? Now, so what the audit does is to find out, okay, what are the pluses and what are the negatives in here? And how do you review it, or what can you put in place on those kind of pluses and negatives? That's basically, if there's a fire in here, is there a smoke detector to detect and alert somebody? Those are the kind of things that audits, profile. Okay, what kind of procedures do you have? How do people come in? How are they attended to? How do they go out? Those are what audit identifies. Audit identifies your vulnerability and helps you to counter it in there.
Okay, let's talk about the security market in Nigeria. What's your assessment of this now?
There's a big market, very big, very, very big. The challenge we have is that practitioners don't want to improve themselves. And because of that, we still look poor. America is surviving because of industrial security. Britain is surviving because of British security, private security. In America, they call the American Society for Industrial Security. Those are the people that bring contemporary laws to help citizenry to do. You have telemetry system, alarm systems like one that is at the back there, which you can go and see, that is networked to a central command and is networked to a police station. So if there's an emergency, within 2 minutes, you have police response in there. But here, you call a policeman. The policeman doesn't even know the street you're talking about. He has to go and find it for 1 hour. But this one is enough lead time for criminal activities to take place. So what I will encourage is that Nigerian government should encourage the private sector and really prove it that these are the kind of people they can work with. And they will go a headway. They will go a long way. So the market is very high, and I encourage my colleagues to please read more about security and really go for training and also expose themselves to possibilities. I don't do everything in security. I major in just a few, and there's a lot. I see a lot of returns.
With the current disappearance of roadblocks on Nigerian roads right now, considering the policies and laws being put together by the current administration of the police affairs, what do you think? Give us your take on this.
Let me answer it like this. It's one thing to remove a man from Mushin and put him in VI. It's another thing to remove the Mushin out of the man. It is not the roadblocks that is the problem. It's the mentality of the people. If you remove the roadblocks, one, which they have done, fine. It will make it easy for people to move. But what have you done? You have transferred criminality to the houses. Because now, escape time is easier. Because there's no roadblock. If somebody hits, they are running. You now get police, start calling. So what we need to do is to get people to understand what their primary relation. How many people know the police station near their house? They don't know. How many people know the DPO near them? They don't know. How many people know the SO? They don't know. They don't care. They look at police with a very negative front, and they can't gain from the police. But if you look at them, okay, how do I do? And three advice I give: once you move into an area, first of all, get to know who the police DPO is. Find out who the head of anti-robbery is. Know them, get to know, become their friends. If there's any issue, they have a face to the number. So they can, okay, Mr. Lagbaja lives at 14B Akiadeshola Street. They will go there because they know you. When you call police 797, okay, they will dispatch the RRS. The guy has to go and look for. They will get to the street and which house? They don't know you. And even in your house there, you have put gates seriously high. Nobody can see inside there. Which in modern cities, you have palisade fencing that you can see through. But here, everything is blocked, covered. So when the criminals come, they hold you in and they keep quiet, they rob you, do everything, and they move out. And when they have gone, you start shouting, thief, thief, ole, ole. Which does not mean. I think there needs to be a reorientation of our mindset concerning security, and that will help us reduce crime, primarily.
You commended the Lagos State government for what they are doing in security. Do you think the police, the community police will be a good initiative?
Community police will be a good initiative.
How and why?
One, for me, is that, local knowledge is important. Local knowledge is important. You know where the criminal activities are because you are a part of the community. Now, when you now have to be moving people, you only move people when you have high risk situation. Now, but when you bring community policing, you need to bring strong management on these people because Africa is family oriented. If an African man's brother steals, it is difficult for him to hand him over to the police. That is the problem why community policing has not been really taken into consideration. Because people will hide their brothers who are doing criminality work. Now, but if this is accepted, community policing is easy. You know, like now, police is your friend. Do you know any suspicious character? The criminals are not ghosts. They live in an area. They go to work, you know them. But you don't want to talk. You don't want to, because you're afraid of the police. So we also need to meet at a middle point, improve police protection plans, and also the citizens understand their own function. Then community policing will work.